Look at that sunset. Oh, you're not here for that, right? So I've owned about 10 different vehicles, so like cars and trucks, and I've owned 4 motorcycles, so a total of 14 automobiles, if you count motorcycles as an automobile. And there's only been 2 that I've regretted selling. And the one common thing between those 2 is that they're both Yamahas. So I bought another Yamaha. I never really mentioned in the previous videos that I sold my Yamaha XT250, and I regret doing that. So I kind of wish I kept that. This is nothing similar to the XT250. This is a XSR700. And yeah, I'll do a full video on that, but today I'm just gonna go over the gear I have because I'm kind of like restocking up on motorcycle gear. I haven't made a video in a while, so I'm a little rusty. So let's go inside, let's go check out kind of the gear and my whole, I guess, motorcycle EDC. So when I'm on the bike, I always carry a bag just because I don't like to carry stuff on the bike. And this bike doesn't, as far as I know, it has a little bit of tiny on-bike storage, but practically it doesn't have on-bike storage. So you're pretty much stuck carrying things in a backpack or something else. I've been using this Chrome. This is the Mini Cadet. And I have a whole video on that, which will be linked in the description, but I'll kind of show you what I'm carrying this now. And I've had this for about a year. I have some thoughts about it, so let me go sit down and I can go through what I have in here and the bag itself. So when I'm riding a 2-wheel vehicle, like either a motorcycle or a bicycle, I always like having a sling bag just because you can whip it around like this. And it's easy to get into even while I'm like on the bicycle, or if I'm sitting on a motorcycle at a light or just stops on the side of the road. I can swing it around, get into it, get what I need, and then just swing it back, which you can't really easily do on a bicycle, especially if you have like a motorcycle jacket on it. It's kind of hard to get backpacks on and off when you kind of have that bigger gear with the shoulder pads and the elbow pads and all that. So that's kind of why I always go with sling bags. One problem I have with this is it does kind of move down and it will kind of fall to my side while I'm riding. So I have to keep adjusting it. And I also noticed that this, oh, my dog's here. All right, that's enough. Out, out, out. She always wants attention like right when I'm in the middle of doing something. So this is kind of right on character for her. Okay, come on, go, out. Okay. All right, hopefully she's done bothering me for right now. So yeah, so it does fall to my side. A lot of sling bags, I'll have another strap that goes from here down to the back of the bag to keep it from sliding down. This one doesn't, I think just because how small it is. But the regular Chrome Cadet, because this is the Mini, the regular Chrome Cadet does have that little attachment there. And I'm thinking about buying that bag, though I do have some reservations about that. So we'll see. I might end up buying it in the next month. So in the front pocket, I have my wallet. It has a little money clip. This is a Trayvax wallet. I don't think they make it anymore, but I'll put a link to like what the equivalent is nowadays. I have all my cards in there. It's the lightest, smallest wallet that I found, and I like it a lot. Next, I have an EpiPen. This is a little flat one. It talks. Unlike the regular EpiPens, this one is covered by my insurance. So I also like it because it's like pretty low profile, but unless you have allergies, this isn't going to be super relevant to you. Going on, I have my AirPods Pro. I really like these. These are the best kind of like mobile headphones I've owned. And they're wrapped in like a little Mario silicone case just to keep them from being scratched up in the bag. And that's pretty much all I have in the front pocket. Sometimes I also carry my inhaler in there, but that's in the main pocket right now. I'll carry a microfiber cloth. I usually wrap my phone in this so it doesn't get scratched up while it's sitting in here. It also keeps things from rattling around and shaking in the bag, so that's why I like having this. And it's good when you're on the motorcycle, so you can quickly like wipe off your face shield, your helmet, or maybe even like polish the bike or something, clean off dirt. So this is handy to have. I also have my Kindle in here. And I have this clipped in. So these are, this is just a little temperature thing. This is, I forgot the name of it, but it's a thermopin. I think it's like mini drop or something drop, but it just keeps track of the temperature, the min and max. And I just like, I don't know why I have this actually, but sometimes I'm just curious what the temperature is and at any given place I'm at. And that's why I have this. And it lights up and the screen adjusts depending on what the orientation is. And the battery lasts forever. So I've had this also about a year and it's still going. Also on this clip I have the Leatherman Squirt P4. It's a cool little mini tool, and I've actually used this mini tool more than any other mini tool I've had, multi-tool, just because I always have it with me. And you know what they say, it's like you only use what you have with you. So I do have bigger multi-tools. I have like a full-size Leatherman, but it's kind of big, so it's not always with me. This one is small and it's always with me, so it gets used the most. And it has a knife, some really basic tools. Like I mentioned, I'll put a link in there. This isn't about this tool, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But highly recommend it, especially for, I think these are about 40 bucks. Then I have my glasses. I don't ride on my glasses, so I keep them in here, and this is just mostly if I'm like going somewhere where I might need to read. So like if I'm reading my Kindle, I'll have these with me. Going on, I have a little thing for business cards. I keep some business cards on me just for if someone asks for my social media information, phone number, stuff like that. Field notes, this is a waterproof one, so these are kind of like plasticky pages and you can get it wet. I've had this for a while. I don't write in here too much, but it has come in handy when I need it. And then this is a Fisher space pin, which is coming loose. And I've also had that pin for several years and it's still going strong. And my last thing I have in here is a Benchmade mini bug out. It's an orange one just because I like this because it's easily visible, especially in the bag. And I can always just like quickly glance in there and tell if it's in the bag or if I forgot it or something. Though if you notice in here, the bag is kind of ripping. That's one reason I have reservations about buying another chrome bag, just because the interior materials are just not that great, especially the stitching. The exterior's been fine. This comes loose a lot, which is pretty annoying. I have to keep tightening all the time. But there's just like little quality control and a little kind of like cheapness in some of the stitching and other parts of this bag that kind of make me think twice about buying another chrome bag. But I think I might end up doing it just because I've used this so much and I've overall really enjoyed it, especially since it has this lock, little pocket back here. So I throw my U-lock in here for when I'm on my bicycle, and I can ride around town with this and quickly pop my lock out, lock up my bike, take this and go. So this has overall been really great. It's been good on my motorcycle and my bike. Any two-wheel vehicle, this has been my go-to bag. So that covers the bag. Let me throw everything back in here and then we'll go and I'll kind of talk about the gear and what clothing I'm wearing now with this new bike. Alright, let's go. So I'll take you to the closet since that's where I'm keeping all my motorcycle gear now. I used to keep all of them in the basement, but I don't know why I was doing that. It's honestly much better in here. So I have a nice little motorcycle shelf set up. Let me go grab my helmet. My helmet's usually up here. I just got done talking about how I have my closet all organized and then I get here and my motorcycle stuff's not even here. So let me go grab, actually let me show you the other stuff and then I'll go grab my helmet. So yeah, I have all my motorcycle stuff here. I am using these Reeks shoes, so these are motorcycle shoes. I bought these because I wanted something that looked a little bit more like regular kind of street high tops. Reeks is the rev'it / like cycle gear store brand. So they have their own like private label now. Overall, I do like this. The bottom is kind of hard, which is nice, so it doesn't flex, which is useful for motorcycle riding, but it's kind of slick on wet pavement, which is not great here in the Seattle area. So that's one thing, kind of one problem I have with these. Besides that, they do have like some protection on the outside. They're stiff, and I have some confidence that these will keep my ankles and feet safe in a accident. So I just want something better than street shoes, and I think this is it. As far as jackets go, I still have my original Alpine Star jacket that I bought with my first motorcycle. This is probably about 14 years old now. I'm not sure, obviously they're not gonna make the same model anymore just because how old it is. I will put a link to it, but it ran really hot. It also had a liner, so I never used the liner because I only use it here in Seattle. And originally, when I first got this, I was living in LA. And I had no need for like a warm liner on the inside of this. So the liner has never really been used. I used it maybe once or twice here when I rode my motorcycle during the winter. But even then, just the regular jacket's not super breathable and it ran really warm. So when I look back, I'm not really sure how I wore this or how I got by riding. Alright, my memory card is full, so I had to delete some videos and come back to this. But like I was saying, I'm not really sure how I got by with this jacket riding in LA. Even riding here in Seattle, it just felt a little too warm during the summer. But somehow, back in the day, I wore this every day, riding through traffic and everything in LA on my Yamaha R6. So it's been a good jacket, though I finally decided to upgrade to a rev'it. This is a rev'it Tornado 3. So originally I was looking at the rev'it, I forget what it's called, it's like sand or something, but there's like a dual sporty jacket that's a little bit more expensive than this one, made by rev'it. And I was looking at this, but then I found this, and this kind of fit better with the style of the bike I have, since it's not a dual sport bike. And so far, I really love this jacket. So it's like, you can it's kind of hard to tell, but it's all mesh, so it's super breathable. Before I bought this jacket, I didn't really realize that when I'm out riding, that I don't need to be completely drenched in sweat if it's summer. I got used to the idea of like, no matter what, I'm gonna have to come home and take a shower after I'm done riding, just because I'm gonna be so kind of feeling gross and sweaty and muggy and just not getting a whole lot of like breathability on the jacket. And I thought that was normal. I assume I'm always just gonna be uncomfortable and feel gross after I'm done motorcycle riding, but this, it's so breathable. I get somewhere, wherever I'm going, I feel fresh. I'm not kind of getting exhausted just because of the heat and feeling uncomfortable. And this is kind of like made motorcycle riding even more enjoyable than it has been in the past. And I wish I upgraded my jacket sooner than I did. And this also comes with a waterproof liner. It's not in there right now because it's summer, but I probably will throw that in during the winter. This is more of a 3-season jacket. I wouldn't really consider it like a hardcore winter jacket, though. You could probably layer up and stretch it a little bit, but I'm not gonna be wearing this like in freezing weather. But I don't really plan on riding in freezing weather anyway, so this is a great jacket. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It has a ton of pockets, and it has just a bunch of features that I didn't really realize they've added to jackets in the last decade, since it's been a decade since I bought a jacket. And if you're interested in me, I'll do a full review on it once I have a few more miles with this jacket. But right now, my initial impressions of owning this for a little bit is that it's a great jacket, and I wish I got it sooner. Finally, I have some riding pants. So these are kind of like jean-ish looking motorcycle pants. They do have knee guards in here. And if I'm 100% honest, I'm not sure if I would buy these again. I think if I was doing it again, I might just go with regular like riding pants. They do have like Tornado 3 pants by rev'it. I'll put a link to those in the description that kind of go along with the jacket. And I think I might have just bought those, honestly, if I was doing it again. The main reason is a lot of the more casual riding gear that looks more like normal street clothes, they don't zip into jackets. So they don't have zippers. They usually have loops. And they'll loop into the jacket just so that if you fall, your jacket doesn't pull up and kind of you get road rash there. Your pants don't go down, you get road rash on your legs. So the pants will hook into the jacket. But like I mentioned, these kind of more casual ones have loops. And the more serious stuff has zippers, so you can't really hook them together. So like these don't hook to the jacket and vice versa. So while I do like these, I'm not sure how well they'll hold up in a wreck, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'm trying to be more prepared. I'm getting older. I'm not as like risky as I was when I was younger, and I'm trying to take better care of myself and keep myself safe. So if I was doing it again, I probably would just go for like more serious riding gear than these kind of like casual street clothes type protective gear. But there are knee pads in here. This does have some protection against like sliding and falling. These are, I didn't even mention what brand it is. This is these are made by Street and Steel, and I don't know the model number off the top of my head. And none of these tags have it, but oh yeah, these are the S&S Oakland jeans. These are a size 32. They're a little long, but they work out okay, especially when you're sitting down and your pants right up a little bit, like it's not showing your socks, so it's nice. So I do like them if you're looking for casual gear. I think I would just skip the casual gear, me personally, if I was doing this again. But I'll keep these probably through the season. I have worn these in like a light drizzle, and I didn't get wet, so that says something. And as far as riding gloves, these are the Alpine Star gloves that I wore it's been 2 years now, when I did the WABDR, which is like an off-road kind of cross-state trail. So I rode about half of that on my XT250, and since it's all off-road, you're kind of like sweating more. I had these like dual sporty type gloves. I kind of hate them. So this is like these gloves are kind of what turned me off of going with Alpine Star stuff going forward. So all my stuff in the past, I've always bought Alpine Star. These gloves made my hands go numb. Wait, these are them, right? Yeah, these are them. So these gloves would always make my fingers go numb. And I thought it was just me, but then I ended up looking at the reviews, and all the bad reviews on these, almost everybody's mentioning that their fingers are going numb. So it's like a fault with these gloves. And this by itself wouldn't make me kind of turn off Alpine Star since I've enjoyed them in the past. But I also had their dual sport riding pants. And while I was on my XT250, I dropped the bike on me just because we're riding off-road. I got stuck in some like really soft, dusty dirt. And when I fell, the bike was on my leg probably like 2 seconds at most. So I fell. Some part of the exhaust was on my pants. I quickly lifted it up and my pants melted completely to the exhaust. And so there's a giant hole in my pants. It feels like an inch off a little bit. I just got lucky that where the burn was, it wasn't directly by skin. But that would have went straight through the pants onto my skin. I would have burned my skin really badly. And we were out in the middle of nowhere. And I would have been stuck riding with like melted pants on my skin or even melted skin. And that really turned me off Alpine Stars because like, those pants are made specifically for that. They're dual sport pants. You should take into consideration that they should be able to handle high heat for 1 or 2 seconds because it's almost expected that you're going to drop a bike at some point, maybe when you're riding off-road. And if they can't handle that, then I'm not sure. Those are like $300 pants and they didn't handle that and they're melted and they have a giant hole in them now. And I got lucky that I didn't get burned, but those two experiences, these gloves and those Alpine Star pants, turned me off of the brand, and I'm kind of looking at other companies now after being like a loyal Alpine Stars fan. So let's go downstairs. I'll go grab my helmet because I was riding today. It's down there. We'll just look at the helmet down there. Alright, so here's my helmet. I had a dual sport helmet that I bought a couple years ago when I bought the XT250. It's pretty loud. It's not super great for street riding. So I got another Shoei helmet. This is almost the exact kind of like upgraded model of the Shoei helmet I've had from before. So my first motorcycle, the Yamaha R6 I had a Shoei helmet. I don't know the model number, but it's about 14 years old now, so it's not super relevant to anybody that's looking at gear now. But this seemed kind of like the most up-to-date modern version of that helmet. And overall, I do like this helmet a lot. This is the Shoei RF1400, but I do have some problems with it. One, my old Shoei helmet had like a little lock here, so when you put the shield down, you would just kind of lock this down. It would suck it in so that no air can get in and it didn't make any noise. This one, the lock is right here by the mouth, so you lock it and then it's really hard to operate this here, and you have to like really press on it. It requires quite a bit of force, and you have to use your hand to like kind of press and pry this open at the same time. And it's really awkward, especially when you're on the freeway going like 70 miles per hour down the highway. I don't know why they got rid of it. The other one seemed kind of like the more advanced design, and that was a 14-year-old helmet. You would just put it down, so you could pull it down with one hand, then move your hand and it'll lock it. This one you have to be doing the finger thing, which is weird, and you have to contort your fingers, and I don't like it. So that's the biggest negative I have about this helmet. Everything else is improved. The ventilation's better, it's more comfortable, it's lighter, it has more features, more safety things. It has like these little, I forgot what it was, these little loops here, and I think this is like something that first responders are familiar with. They can rip these out and it's easier to take the helmet off in case you're in an accident or something like that. And I've never had a headset on my motorcycle, so like I mentioned, I've been riding 14 years and I've never had a Bluetooth headset. When I did the WABDR, everybody had headsets, and at the end of the day, they had been having like conversations like the entire day for like 8 hours. So like, I'm getting to the destination with them, and it's like they've been conversing. They have like stories from the whole day. They have all these references and inside jokes, and I'm like, I had no idea that this was even happening. It's like they were all on their own little trip, it seemed like, even though we were all there together. They were all talking to each other, and I was being stubborn, and I was like, no. When I'm on a motorcycle, I'm like, I don't want any sounds, I don't want any distractions. It's just the motorcycle. It's like a pure riding experience. Well, I've grown out of that, so I got this Senna, and it has improved the riding experience quite a bit. So I enjoy listening to music now. This is the low profile one. Like I mentioned, I'll put a link in the description. The battery's back here. The controls are right here, and then all the wiring kind of runs up here. There's a lot of videos of installing like Senna products on this specific helmet. So if you're looking for that, there's a lot of good descriptions on YouTube. The instructions that come with this are not great, and you actually have to break the speaker. So the speakers come in these little plastic housings that don't fit inside the helmet as it comes from the factory. So immediately you have to break the speakers, rip them out of the housing, so you just kind of have the speakers exposed completely, and they fit perfectly in the helmet. But it's a little unnerving because you're breaking a brand new product and you're voiding the warranty immediately as you install it in the helmet. So just be warned, if you're going to use this combination, I do like it, but it's not going to fit straight out of the factory, and you're going to have to be breaking things and modifying things. So if you're not comfortable with that, you might want to look for a different helmet headset combination. But everything will be in the description so you can see the exact setup I have. And if you have questions about that, let me know. The quality's not great. It kind of sounds like you're listening through like a old tin kind of like radio or something. But it's better than what I had before, which was nothing. And this helmet has pin lock, which I've never had a helmet with pin lock. And it's quite an upgrade over my 13, 14-year-old helmet. So that's my helmet, headset. As far as gloves go, I just got these about a couple weeks ago just because I was having those problems with my fingers going numb with the Alpine Star ones. These are also Reeks, so it's that store brand that's made by rev'it / Cycle Gear, and this is the Caster Air leather glove. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. They seem okay, like nothing to write home about, but they're also not bad. They're better than the Alpine Stars. If I had more time to research, I probably would have researched more gloves. I was just, I got so tired of the Alpine Stars, I drove into Cycle Gear and just bought these. And I'll be using these for a while. I'm not going to get rid of them. They're holding up just fine. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole riding setup that I have right now. I'll probably do another video on the motorcycle itself, kind of my thought process behind buying that bike, why I bought it. And I'll be trying to do more videos. I know I keep saying that, but it's just started a new job, been kind of busy with that, just a lot of life things. You know how it is. So hope everybody's doing well. If you have any questions or anything like that, make sure to comment. I always appreciate that. I enjoy talking with everybody, and I'll see you out there.